Karibu watazamaji wa CiaMeru TV. My name is Godfrey Mutiga and this is SIASA. Today we focus on the Kigame presidency. And the big question is, why should Kenyans elect Reuben Kigame as the 5th president of the Republic of Kenya? Just a polite reminder that we are coming to you from Demi Place in Kilimani, Nairobi. Bwana Reuben Kigame.
Yes sir, how are you?
Karibu kwenye siasa.
Nakubali, nashukuru na nafurahi.
All right. Bwana Kigame, why should Kenyans elect you as the 5th president of the Republic of Kenya?
There are many reasons, Mr. Mutiga.
Yes.
The first reason, I believe, is because the ones on offer, the people that are going around the country
Yes.
asking for Kenyans' votes,
Yes.
have most of them, nearly all of them, been in government before, and they have failed
Yes.
to deliver what Kenyans are looking for. And so Kenyans need a fresh start.
Okay.
A new person.
Yes.
Someone outside the system. Someone that has not done government the way they have been doing.
Yes.
And I believe that I am that person.
All right.
Because, you know, there is no point just adding to the number of those who end up on the ballot paper.
Yes.
We need a genuine, fresh start.
All right.
And so I can carefully say that the first criticism is always, Reuben, you've not been in government before.
Yes.
And I can say, yes, I have not been directly. And yes, I do not have the experience.
Yes.
But if by experience we mean, leading Kenya the way Kenya is led today, then I don't have that experience and I don't want it.
All right.
Yeah, I don't want that experience, because that experience of the people that have been in office is the one that has led us to where we are. Secondly, I believe that with God's help, I am probably the most daring person to face Kenya's #1 problem right now.
Okay.
And that is the problem of corruption and impunity.
Okay.
I can tell you for free, Mr. Mutiga,
Yes.
that you have two ways of facing corruption. One is mere rhetoric, where you just talk to Kenyans and tell them you're going to do something.
Yes.
The other is to show by example that your own life is able to make promises that can be kept, that you can live a life of integrity.
Yes.
And I believe that from my fearless approach to the ills that have plagued the church and the society and so on, I am probably the most committed candidate
Yes.
that can attack this dragon of corruption and impunity,
Yes.
and minimize, if not eliminate, the problem.
Okay.
For you to be able to do something about corruption, you must come into government without corruption.
Yes.
I'm not a perfect person. I make my mistakes. But I can tell you for sure, I have not taken anybody's shamba. I have not taken anybody's wife.
Yes.
I have not taken anybody's property.
Yes.
I have not swindled anyone out of a shilling.
Bwana Kigame.
And so I come to it with clean hands, because you cannot deal with the corruption and impunity in Kenya unless you approach government with that kind of record. And lastly,
Yes.
I believe that given the perennial problems that are plaguing us as a country today,
Yes.
where as a country, if you had 3 hospital wards, you have the ordinary ward, you have the HDU, and you have ICU.
Yes.
I believe we are in ICU. No, we are in HDU.
Yes.
Because of the debt crisis, because of the hunger situation, because of poor health, and because of division and tribalism and ethnicity, and the perennial forgetting of people that are abled differently and or are different. We have neglected women, persons living with disability. We are not an inclusive society. So I believe I bring to the table a commitment to serve Kenyans instead of swindle and plunder Kenyans.
So, Bwana Kigame, you want to bring on the table, and what you are telling Kenyans today is that you want Kenya to start afresh.
Yes. Reboot.
Reset.
Pretty much like reprogram the country.
And you believe you are the man who can change
with the computer program? Yes.
Yes, you have the computer program.
Yes.
All right. Bwana Kigame, you have a strong background in church, all right? And now you're coming from that background and wanting to shift to politics. Don't you think it's a big shift? Don't you think it's a...
That's a good question.
It's confusing to Kenyans.
That's a very good question.
Yes.
And I think it is because people don't understand church.
Okay.
People imagine, because of the so-called separation of church and state,
yes,
that Christians should not be engaged in everyday life.
Okay.
Ironically, we accept that Christians should be involved in everyday life, but live like they shouldn't.
All right.
So, for example, we know there are Christian doctors, very good medical doctors.
Yes.
Christian teachers and professors, Christian lawyers, Christian business people. We know they are there, and we look for them. You know, people like honest people who fear God and serve people honestly. So we accept that in every space.
Yes.
Unfortunately, we draw the line when it comes to leadership.
Yes.
And that is wrong.
Yes.
Because once we draw that dichotomy when it comes to leadership, then we exclude good leaders, godly leaders, leadership of values and integrity from ascending in office. So I'm here to say that the proper definition of Christianity is one that removes the dichotomy between my faith as a person and my practice.
Okay.
I should have the two going together.
All right.
And so people say politics is a dirty game, and so Christians should not be involved. Do you know the fact that politics is dirty is the biggest reason why Christians should be involved?
Okay.
Because Christians by nature are cleaners. Christians by nature are people who solve problems or deal with issues. A pastor's office is always full.
Yes.
You know, you have your counseling issues, you have your troubles, you are disagreed, and so on. You go to pastors.
Yes.
Then it comes to politics, and then you begin to say we don't need, Christians.
Yes.
That is a mistake. But secondly, politics is dirty because it's full of dirty people that need to be removed.
Yes.
And so we need to populate next year's government with people that are clean. In fact, the Bible itself says in Proverbs 29:2 that when the righteous are in office, people rejoice.
Okay.
But when the wicked rule, people mourn. Wanalia. Yeah.
Okay. But again, people ask themselves, why choose politics? What is the inspiration?
Okay, that's another good question, because why choose politics?
Yes.
And the answer is I've always been a politician.
Okay.
So I'm not choosing it. That is what I am.
You are a politician.
From when I was about 16,
yes,
I read a book that revolutionized my life. It was called Luther the Reformer.
Okay.
Now, Luther really rattled the ecclesiastical systems of the day by insisting that truth is a priority over lies and heresy and things like that.
Yes.
But it also introduced me to the fact that a Christian needed to be learned enough to engage with the ideologies and philosophies of the day.
Yes.
And by God's grace, that is a book that inspired me to go to school, and to the point where, besides politics and music, the other thing that I enjoy most is really education.
All right.
And so it's not like something I'm choosing now.
Okay.
If you go back to my student days at Kenyatta University, I was quite involved in writing against Moi's government.
Yes.
In mobilizing students, like when Robert Ouko was killed.
Yes.
We were out on the streets.
Yeah.
When Alexander Muge was killed, we were out on the streets. And when there was the clamour for multi-party
You're saying
politics,
you are a student leader?
No, I was not a student leader. I was part of the student community.
Of the
So
student
we
movement.
joined the student movement. Yes,
Okay,
we were part of the Kenyatta University Students Union there. So we demonstrated because we believed that there was a miscarriage of justice and abuse of power, etc.
Yes.
And so, as a Christian, I go in the. I lean on the shoulders of Christian leaders like Gitari,
Yes.
and Muge and Okulu and Ndingi Mwana Nzeki.
Okay.
These are my role models in terms of the Kenyan leadership, from the church perspective. So I attended the multi-party rallies of that time with Akina, where Akina Matiba, Shikuku, and Rubia were addressing and pushing for multi-party democracy.
Yes.
Akina Orengo and so on, when he was still a good boy. He's now not a very good example in terms of democratic space. So we have that. You see, that is around 1990,
The 90s.
1990 to 92, when they were pushing for the repealing of Section 2A. I was a teacher then already, and so I left. That is after college.
Yes.
I would come to Nairobi and attend those meetings, and come the constitutional talks,
Yes.
led by Yashpal Guy, and then the WACO-led teams. I was quite involved in the constitutional processes. In 2013, I ran to become Vihiga County's governor.
Okay.
And right now, a member of the Linda Katiba movement.
Okay.
So of being around politics, or
Politics.
in political and social activism spaces.
Yes.
So it's second nature to me.
Okay.
So those who think I only sing, yes, I do sing. I've recorded many albums, 29 of them, and I continue to sing.
Yes.
And you can't take music from me. I hope to be the first singing president.
Yes.
So that is me.
Yes.
So it's not something I'm sort of, wacha nijaribu siasa, wacha nijaribu social activism. No,
Yeah,
that's
it has
part
been.
and parcel of my life.
Yes.
Yes.
So apart from what you have really insisted on, you coming from a church background, what other qualities do you bring to Kenyans?
Besides a leadership of integrity
Yes.
and godliness?
Yes. Sure.
So first of all, I would like to say that I am an activist and a defender of rights,
Okay.
of people's, rights. And that not only have I done from what I have told you,
Yes.
but I have written a lot. I have written in social media spaces. I have produced videos and put them on, even on my own channel. You'll find a lot of activism. Now, I'm also, by the way, a trained teacher. And I have taught history for a long time.
Okay.
And had a chance to be able to impact students both at the university and also at high school.
Okay.
And then I do a lot of media work, my second degree being in journalism and media studies.
Okay.
And having been involved with, as a broadcaster with Radio Citizen, with Family FM,
Okay.
with Hope Media. Actually, I was one of the pioneers of Hope FM. I ran my own station for 10 years called Fish FM. And so media is like second nature again.
To you.
So I use, even YouTube now. So I use media to speak to people, to speak truth to power,
Okay.
to teach values, etc.
Okay.
And so this is something I can bring to the table. But I also bring to the table something that none of my competitors will bring to the table.
Okay.
And that is inclusive politics. Nowhere in Africa has there ever been someone running for president
Yes.
that was also blind.
Okay.
I don't know any. In fact, I don't know any in the world.
Yes.
So this is going to be historical. You see, all over the world, persons living with disability
Yes.
are marginalized to the point where society accepts that they are useless. They cannot make a difference in any space. In fact, my own life
Yes.
has been a life of the government and the society neglecting me, in fact, denying me opportunities.
All right.
So I've had a lot of pushing in order to make it to where I am today. And so I'm hoping my candidature can actually demonstrate not just to persons living with disability and the marginalized in general,
Yes.
but especially to young people that are neglected in this society.
Yes.
You know, people look down on young people as if they cannot make a difference in leadership. I'm hoping that I'll see some college graduates, you know, running for office as MCAs, as MPs, because they can.
Yes.
It's a constitutional right, but also we believe we must be inclusive. Leadership is not only for certain families or certain groups.
Yes.
I'm hoping that my candidature can demonstrate that, but I'm also hoping Kenyans can vote for me, if for no other reason than to prove that Kenya is for all.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Fair enough, Bwana Kigame. Now, we have seen in churches politicians being banned from talking or participating in politics. What is your view about church and politics?
There are two sides to that question.
Yes.
The first side is, I believe, the church leaders like Archbishop Ole Sapit, who banned those politicians from speaking in the Anglican Church. I believe he did the right thing.
Yes.
And it's primarily because of the bad manners of Kenya's politicians.
Okay.
They don't respect not just the church, but they don't respect the citizens at all.
Oh, okay.
So, for example, they will take that political moment in a church service or at a funeral
Okay.
and completely divert the focus of the particular meeting. So
Yes.
if people are worshiping, then you begin to introduce political, electioneering and polarization and let's, kama makabila haya tuungane. And there you've gone to worship.
Yes.
That is bad manners. Number two, you abuse the people. So people are mourning, for example.
Yes.
Watu wamepoteza mpendwa wao. Now, you go there and instead of condoling with them, mourning with them, comforting them, you begin now to use the numbers that are gathered there to tell people the way they should vote.
Okay.
I think that is absurd. It is absurd. So, I would say that is one side. The second side of it is this.
Yes.
I don't think it means, therefore,
Yeah.
that politicians should not go to church.
Okay.
I mean, they are ordinary people like us.
Yes.
They are our brothers and sisters. So, worship God, to be in church, even to be prayed for, it's okay. The thing that the church is complaining is the diversion of the pulpit
Yes.
to serve personal, divisive political interests.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. The campaign season is here. Are you likely to talk politics in church yourself?
I don't know what that means. Whether, I can ask to campaign at a church?
Yes. Sure.
No, I don't think it is right. So, and I need to qualify what I mean. Is it wrong for me to go, to a church service and let's say I'm given a chance to greet people,
Yes.
as the pastors sometimes will do?
Will you engage in politics at that point?
So the point is, can I say I'm running? Yes, I can say. Okay? Yeah, pray for me, I'll be standing.
Yes.
And, this is what I stand for.
Yes.
I can say that. What I will never do is start saying, you know what, as Kigame, I'm better than Mutiga.
Yes.
And you know what, you from this community should combine with your people from other communities, and even worse, begin to take money and dish. We've come to worship God. We shouldn't polarize. In other words, there's nothing wrong with people knowing your agenda or people knowing what you stand for.
Yes.
I believe, though, we must respect the church space so much so that we are constructing rather than deconstructing, that we're building instead of breaking, that we're uniting, we are healing instead of destroying.
All right.
Yes.
You intend to be the next president, actually the 5th president of the this good Republic of Kenya. How do you intend to slay the dragon of corruption, which has become a serious menace in this country?
Yeah, so the first place to start is with appointing people in government that are people of values and integrity,
Yes.
and without a record of corruption. That is where the slaying the dragon of corruption starts.
Yes.
Actually, it starts before the elections. It starts during the campaign period. During the campaign period, Bwana Mutiga,
Yes.
what happens is a lot of money is exchanged.
Okay.
People fund candidates. But the people who give the big monies to candidates, the millions,
Yes.
are usually people with interests
Okay.
in government. So someone comes to you and says, as a candidate, I'll give you 2 million shillings. Na wewe ukifika kwa serikali, remember me.
Yes.
Give me a tender or give me something or a position.
Yes.
And the higher the funds, usually the more the stakes. Now, if as a candidate you agree to go that direction, you can be sure you will have a corrupt government.
Okay.
Because you will be obliged. It will be necessary for you to make that appointment.
Yes.
Because the gentlemanly thing to do is you honor your commitments.
Yes.
So
it starts at the campaign.
Yes, it does. It starts there. And already I can see a lot of deals being made.
Okay.
Where people are funding candidates and saying, na wewe ukiingia huko, tutaenda hivi.
Okay.
And some of the people who are corrupt are using the corrupt proceeds that they have accumulated to give politicians,
Yes.
so that they can be protected
Yes.
when the politician or that candidate goes into office.
Don't you think it's also a good time that you most probably you share this information if you have evidence with Kenyans, so that?
Well, I'm also a candidate that believes in clean politics.
Okay.
So name calling is not necessarily my forte.
Okay.
And then a lot of what we want in specific vindications and lack of thereof are matters of the courts.
Okay.
However, it's common knowledge that a lot of money is being exchanged in terms of funding. And some of it is open, that people are saying, sisi tuko tayari kukupatia pesa, kukupatia gari, kukupatia this, And some of it is there, chukua hii gari, enda ufanye campaign, it's that doesn't need rocket science for Kenyans to know that it's happening. But my point is that if you go that direction, then you'll be obligated to make certain appointments or appointments in a particular way.
Yes.
That is how you begin to lose the war against corruption.
Yes.
And I'm saying, as a candidate, I'm not going that direction. Now, the second thing that I would do,
Yes.
Having escaped that campaign trap, is then to appoint a national government without, somebody coercing me that I have to appoint a particular way.
Yes.
So the CSs and so on. I want to be sure that every region of the country
Yes.
is represented. And, if you have these deals that you sign where, you have your running mate and yourself and you say 50% of the appointments will go to me and 50% to you, that is how we spoil the country, because then people of merit, people of qualification
Yes.
are left out. I want to avoid that completely. And that is why I may look like the unpopular candidate.
Yes.
I don't get the media coverage because
Yes.
I don't buy anybody.
Okay.
And at the same time, 6 months into the elections, I still sleep very well. I wake up strong and I can take these interviews publicly.
Yes.
I can say what I want
Yes.
because I believe what I say. The second thing I will do is provide amnesty
Okay.
for anyone that knows they have done something wrong. You
Yes.
give people a chance because that is the best thing to do.
Okay.
Kama unajua kuna kitu yenyewe hukufanya sawa sawa, let's clean up.
Okay.
You have these many days to restitute and do right. But after that,
Yes.
Bwana Mutiga,
Yes.
wewe unaona huyu mzee ambaye anaonekana tu ni soba, ni polite, anakaa Mkristo mzuri, that is when you will know that Reuben Kigame
Yes.
is set to fight corruption.
All right.
If you don't restitute and EACC and DCI and so on, have finally proven these are the facts. I can tell you for sure, Bwana Mutiga, someone will go to jail.
Okay.
Yes. That you can take to the bank.
Okay.
As Kenyans say.
Yes.
Because I hope I can be the first president to demonstrate that the law should work for everybody.
Yes.
For the so-called rich and the poor. For the so-called those in power and those outside power. Actually, when you think of it, power, according to the constitution, belongs to the people of Kenya, not to those in office.
So you're saying you may look polite, but when it comes to taking action,
I'm ruthless.
You are ruthless.
I am so ruthless.
All right.
And the people who work with me know that. My family knows that. Ask them. I have trained so many people in media and in education and so on. Ask them. Those who have worked for me. I used to run a restaurant. I used to run a media house. Unajua watu wananidharau kwa sababu wanaona niko blind. But I've done many things in this life, Bwana Mutiga.
Yes.
But the thing people know me for is that my yes is yes and no is no.
Okay.
So if you're doing right, you'll be a very good friend of mine. In fact, I'll keep you very close.
Okay.
If you are perpetually doing wrong, I will only love you with the love of God, but I will act very harshly.
All right.
Yes. Because I believe in justice. I believe in equality. I believe in truth. By the way, I need to tell you something. Today, you as Mutiga,
Yes.
if you saw something wrong happening in the church, will you be strong enough to speak and say, Bwana, you do something about this? Most Christians will not. I can tell you, not only will I speak, of course I follow the protocol of Scripture,
But you'll also act.
I will act. In fact, I have rattled so many, especially the prosperity preachers that deceive people and swindle people out of their earnings. I have not only spoken but acted in so many ways. It's in small places, like even, you remember there's a bus that used to be called the Akamba bus.
Yes, the Akamba.
I remember traveling on that bus as a younger person, and there would be these preachers that would come and say, before you travel, this bus could have an accident. Let me preach to you. And then they take an offering.
Yes.
So I would speak out and say, okay, you are free to preach, but don't take an offering.
Okay.
That kind of thing, because some people have reduced the gospel to merchandise. And so I know I was sacked from one job because of speaking out. And so you can be sure that is something I can carry into government.
Okay.
And I will. Because you are my minister. You do wrong, I will sack you. Yes. If I'm the appointing one,
Yes.
I'll sack you.
All right.
If it's another body that is responsible, I'll call that body, table the evidence, and recommend sacking.
Okay.
You can be sure, by God's grace, I will be the first person, the first president of Kenya to really, really act on the issue of corruption.
All right.
But most of all, what we need to do to tame corruption
Yes.
is set up systems of accountability so that if 2 billion shillings comes into the account for a project,
Yes.
we want to see when it came in, but how it was also disbursed, signed by who, for what, when, why, how much, etc.
Yes.
Accountability is so important for publics. Your own money,
Yes.
you can use it the way you want. Who will question you?
Nobody.
We will advise you, but the decision is yours.
Yes.
But if it is public funds, nobody has the right to personalize or use it the way they want.
Yes.
Let me give you a scenario, and I hope you don't forget.
Yes.
There are people in this country that are paying taxes through their noses. You pay taxes.
Yes.
Unalipa tax. Na uchungu. Mshahara inakatwa, you pay as you earn, nini, NSSF, NHIF, nini, all these things. Then people take all of that money and just pocket. As who?
Individuals.
It is not right. So that is the culture I must stop in government, but it trickles down to everyday living. The policeman who takes a bribe on the road, the watchman that will take a bribe in order to let you to see the boss.
Yes.
This must stop.
Okay.
In Kibaki's day, by the way, Kenyans were actually the ones helping the government. I'm hoping we go back to that culture to arrest culprits of corruption. But the difference between my presidency and the other presidencies is
Yes.
that I'm a man of action.
A man of action.
Yes.
All right, fair enough, Bwana Kigame. Now, I want us to talk a little bit on alliances, political alliances.
Okay.
We have seen the culture in politics in Kenya is a culture of alliances. Some will talk about a two-horse race, others will talk about a donkey here, a donkey there. Now, do you intend to form any alliance with any other politician
Yes.
to advance
I do.
your agenda?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yes. Because unity is strength.
Okay.
The Bible says a cord of 3 strands cannot easily be broken. When 2 people lie together, they're warm.
Yes.
2 are better than 1.
Okay.
So that's a principle that the church has not really embraced well, and I believe that as a Christian, I can demonstrate that that is the best way to go. Multinationals are coming together. Countries are forming regional blocks of trade and all of that. I think it's wise to be able to come together as people of like-mindedness and advance. I belong to the Ukweli Party.
Ukweli Party.
Yes. And in the Ukweli Party, we stand for integrity and accountability, the rule of law.
Yeah.
And we have a few other parties that stand on those principles.
Yes.
So we are in discussion on the possibility of forming some kind of alliance
Yes.
that will shake this country.
All right. And lastly, Bwana Kigame, we have seen the ravages of COVID-19. What is your COVID-19 recovery plan? We have seen loss of jobs. We have seen hopeless youths here and there. What is your COVID-19 recovery plan?
So there are 3 things.
Yes.
First of all, I would like to localize the solutions.
Okay.
So let me back up and say the first place to start is really to boost the known mechanisms, get vaccinations and get people to do prevention, wear the masks and wash hands and keep social distancing where it's necessary. However, beyond that, COVID is real, it is here.
Yes.
Now, the first place is to then localize solutions, where instead of receiving instructions from Geneva or New York or whatever in order to handle our local COVID situation,
Yes.
I would like to reprioritize our local health workers and medical specialists.
Yes.
I would like our doctors to give us more direction, CiaMeru and our researchers, those who know how COVID affects us directly. Those are the ones that I want to inform government policy.
Yes.
So I don't mind the WHO, but WHO's guidance needs to be domesticated.
Yes.
There are things, there are, for example, if you say social distance in the African culture, you see, you really cannot social distance effectively in the African culture.
Okay.
So you need secondary approaches where our medics can come up maybe with, maybe localized masks that are recyclable, or, have the government invest in access to water points and so on. There's no way you can wash your hands if you don't have water.
Yes.
So we need to have a local solution. The second thing is we need to reopen the economy.
Okay.
And besides vaccination, we really must become a bit more practical with the issue of curfews.
Okay.
I personally don't believe that having a 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. curfew is useful in curbing COVID.
Okay.
Because the super spreader situations happen during the day.
Okay.
When people gather at markets, when politicians call for meetings and people go. In fact, the politicians are super spreaders.
Yes.
So compared to someone keeping social distance and running a restaurant until 10 p.m.,
Yes.
surely we need to be realistic.
Yes.
To be honest with you,
Yes.
I would have nothing to do with that night curfew unless it is in an insecurity zone.
Okay.
Even lockdowns are only effective where you also provide a way for people not to collapse economically.
Okay.
So my recovery program is, okay, number one, localized, so the solutions. Number two, avoid curfews
Yes.
at night, and unnecessary blockages of people from being able to work.
Yes.
But emphasize more on prevention and management. And lastly, in order to do a recovery, I would like to see a proper analysis of the performance of businesses.
Yes.
Some people need to be reassisted
Yes.
in order to come back. Some businesses that closed, I think it's a government responsibility
Yes.
to fund the recovery of certain businesses. Like if a hotel collapsed, we need to bring it back to life. So that, you see, if we helped that person recover, then he will hire. People will still get work.
Yes.
And so we have to have a more nationalistic outlook to the recovery process, where we sort of help the fledgling businesses to come back.
All right.
And then, most of all, live realistically, knowing that COVID is not the only disease that is destroying us.
Okay.
We need to manage cancer. We need to manage malaria. We need to manage road accidents.
Yes.
Because actually road accidents are claiming more lives than COVID. We need to manage mental health. We are such a sick society that even policemen that we expect will keep the law and take care of us,
Yes.
some of them are sick.
Yes.
They're killing each other.
Okay.
And our young people, they're so lost, they're so depressed. We need to pay attention to mental health more than before.
All right. Fair enough, Bwana Kigame. What is your last message to the people of Kenya?
My last message is simply this.
Yes.
Give a chance to a fresh start. Let's have a different way of doing leadership
Okay.
by having a servant leader to serve you.
Okay.
Let's have somebody who represents a reset, a rebuilding, a reconstruction of the country. And that's why I'm asking for your vote.
All right.
Now, if that happens, this is what you'll get. Somebody asked me, every leader has a vision
Yes.
of a country. Now, my vision of this country, if elected, is this: that in September, October 2022, going into 2023,
Yes.
that everywhere you turn, you look this way, you look that way,
Yes.
you see beaming faces,
Okay.
smiling, people that are almost breathing a sigh of relief,
Yes.
that something has happened that is good.
Yes.
I'm looking at our streets and hoping there will be no children on the streets, because it is our responsibility. We can't call them street children or street families. I'm hoping that traders that have been maligned by cartels and so on, will be able to smile again.
Okay.
That Meru, for example, will be able to export, whether it's miraa or whatever it is, that you will grow your crops
Yes.
and send to other parts of the country. Kenya has enough food. And we need, value addition on some of the things. I don't see why you can't put up a fruit factory in Meru or several of them. And the way to do it is don't put everything in Meru town.
Yes.
Take some things to Maua, take some things to Igembe, take some things to the Rakanithi, so that we open up the whole of Meru.
Yes.
And then some of you, and this is where I'm hoping that Mount Kenya can listen to me.
Yes.
Instead of being told how to vote, you choose how to vote. You know, vote in somebody who will allow you to live anywhere in this country.
Yes.
You know, the one message I have for Mount Kenya is choose somebody who will open up the country for you so that nobody pushes you out of an area every 5 years.
Okay.
Ati unafungiwa biashara, you know, ama mtu anakuchomea nyumba. That is what I want to bring to an end. And then leave Meru and come and help me build Turkana, invest in Garissa, invest in Lamu. You know, we want to open up the rest of the marginalized countries. Na ni nyinyi watu wa Mount Kenya mutanisaidia. Give me a chance. It's not about protecting your interests.
Yes.
It's about making you do more with this country. Own more. Expand. Musikae to Central. And that is what I need for Mount Kenya to know.
Okay.
And so, given a chance, I would like to certainly slay corruption, do something about hunger in this country. It's too much, so food security. Mambo ya health, I want to bring it closer to the people. Even these midwives you see in the village, wao ndio wanafaa kupewa kamshahara wazalishe.
Yes.
Si kila mtu anafaa kwenda Kenyatta Hospital. So, you know, deal with health, deal with this malaria, nini, mental health, nini. And then we need to slay that debt issue. Unajua tumefikisha 7.6 trillion madeni. So I have some mechanisms on how to deal with that. Most of all, let's unite this country.
Okay.
And you know, I'm born in Vihiga, grew up in Kisumu.
Yes.
I married from Central Kenya, from Kirinyaga, Kagio. I live in Wasingishu.
Yes.
Sasa hata utasema mimi ni kabila gani jamani. So choose somebody who can really unite this country. Okay. Regardless of who you are. And I think, like I told you, I may be visually challenged, but I see a lot more than your average politician sees.
Okay.
I see with my heart.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Bwana Reuben Kigame, it's been a pleasure having you on SIASA.
Thank you.
And we hope to even host you more
Thank
in
you.
our coming programs as you elaborate your agenda to the people of Kenya.
I look forward.
All right.
And thank you for the opportunity.
Asante. CiaMeru TV viewers, that has been SIASA. I've been your host, Godfrey Mutiga. Today, we have been talking about the Kigame presidency. And yes, elaborated his agenda in wooing Kenyans to become the 5th president of the Republic of Kenya. I hope to see you next time. See you then.